Did you turn your mic on?
Oh, just kidding. Let's do this again. We're going to do that again. Just kidding. Welcome to SonarFeed, episode 202. Why, Fredy? ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué, Fredy? Glad to be back.
Wow.
Yeah, obviously I missed the game here. A show.
Hey, did you know you're supposed to turn the microphone on?
It's not like I do that anywhere else. What's up, boys?
Right.
How's everybody doing today?
Good. I'm tired. How are you?
Oh, man, doing fantastic.
I can't hear anything anymore.
Like just since just now?
Yeah, there's a little ringing tinnitus in
I
my
miss you
ear.
too.
It's been a couple of weeks.
That's right. That's right.
I forgot that you even existed.
Wow.
Whoa. We did miss you, too.
Wow.
So anyway, David,
Yes,
Mark,
Thomas,
Ugo.
Tomas.
Tomas.
Tomax, and Zaymot.
Wow. You just made an awkward G.I. Joe toy comment.
How's that awkward?
Not really.
Okay,
It's kind of
yeah.
amazing. Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to everybody
y'all.
here in the
Welcome,
bar.
everybody.
We've got
Oh,
a
yeah.
pretty good crew.
Oh, yeah.
We've got Mickey
Yes.
eating all my French fries. He actually punked me pretty good a few minutes ago with like a middle school trick, and I totally fell for
What
it.
was it?
He did the point and like make me turn and look, and then like grab my fries while I was looking the other way, which was pretty
Which
fantastic.
is perfect
That-
considering it was your first day.
That reminds me, dude. I used to be kind of mean sometimes in high school. When we were middle school.
We are shocked
in
by
middle
this
school.
development.
Wait, listen. So I would bet people when I needed to get a soda, I would bet people, and I would pick on the fastest kids, and I wasn't that fast.
I'm right here.
But I would say, I'll race you for a soda.
I'm looking
Let's
at
go. Are
you.
you ready? And then we'd race like a 100-yard sprint or something, and they'd go off nonstop, and I'd just walk, take my time,
Steal
get
their
to the
soda.
finish, and then at the end, I'm like, all right, man, where's my soda? I said I'd race you. I never said I'd beat you.
Damn.
I know, dude. Middle school.
Speaking of racing, Mark and I are still going to race.
What?
We have
I'm gonna
we have a
beat
race off.
your ass.
Is this due
Okay.
to pub league?
I beat you to the egg.
I didn't really try, dude.
Neither did I.
Yeah. Mark, literally, alcohol was in eggs on a field, and Mark was first out the
Thanks
gate,
for the
and
invite.
it wasn't even close.
Where was this
Like,
at?
he
Public.
was 10 yards ahead of everyone else.
And I got the egg that had
You had
Double bottles.
the really good bourbon, though. So
and the really bad Huckleberry vodka.
Huckleberry vodka, yo.
Will you be my Huckleberry? Vodka.
Anyway, so welcome to episode 202. Why, Fredy? Why? The title
Seriously.
is pretty self-explanatory, to say the least. Dave needs a cocktail.
Same. No.
For a little bit.
So-
I'm sweating up over here.
Take your jacket
Damn.
Well, I know, but even with, I know I'm just sweating.
Oh, I'm wearing my jacket.
Man
So
wearing
there's
two jackets is like
So
the fire's
he's
too hot.
He's upset that the fire
No,
behind
I'm
him is
just
too
saying,
hot.
I'm
So,
lit. No, it's lit. It is lit, man.
Yes,
did,
please.
did you actually just say it lit?
It lit.
It lit, fam.
You goes too hot on the Berliner pub
That's for
patio.
you,
We've
Cole.
got a fire
Wow.
going and the
Yeah.
sun
Anyway.
is shining.
So, real quick, we can go around the room. Across from me,
Who are you?
who are you?
I'm Dave Clark at Better Than on Twitter if you're looking for me.
To your left.
I'm SSFC Fredy 13. The
How's
OG
that- how's,
Fredy.
how's that slider?
That slider is actually pretty good.
Sliding right in.
To my right.
Your left, I am,
Across from me.
across from Fody, the OG Fody, is Hugo Garcia, a.k.a. Mi Vida Seattle.
Isn't he
Wow.
the second Fody?
Me? No, I'm the OG.
OG Photo. Yeah. And I'm Tom Bureau, a.k.a. Bougie Hooli. So welcome to Monday night, really sunny, bright evening,
bright.
which is pretty fantastic.
Sun is out.
So although I looked at Time Hop yesterday and today, and I guess today, last year, it was like 83 or something ridiculous like that.
It was not
so we had
83
had that
today.
like string of like 4 80-degree days.
Yeah.
And this year, everybody's like, man, it's still super warm. And I'm like, it was literally 20 degrees warmer. That's 1/3 more.
Yeah, but like 3 years
Today.
ago, we had snow last weekend. So
Yeah.
Go figure.
early April.
But at least there's no climate
pass.
change, so it's cool. Yeah, we'll be fine. Anyway, so we can dig into the usual stuff.
Yo, first,
Like
man,
climate change?
want to shout out to you guys last week. That show with Jose and Sarah.
It lit.
That was fun, man.
There was a show.
Fam.
That was fun. Yeah. I checked it out. You didn't? Not on my phone because I
Better
lost
producer.
it. But
It's kind of his career.
No, that's directing.
Mark didn't die though.
Yeah.
On Monday, so that was good.
that was good.
And I cooked one hell of a steak.
And he looked
Yeah.
solid actually. When we met up, you were good. You're solid.
I only had 2 beers at the game.
Did you? Those
That's
two?
That's what. You called me from the
Yeah.
parking lot before you ever went into the stadium, and you were doing the like.
Yeah, but he only
I'm-
had 2 in the game.
In the-
Right. That
He
I'm
had
saying,
many
like
beforehand.
pre-game though, you were already cruising along.
Well,
pretty
yeah, there was
good.
the 3 at Flat
Yeah.
Stick.
Well
Just a
done.
little bit,
Well
just a little
done.
bit.
Hashtag Flat Stick Pub. Check 'em
So
out.
so anyway,
Thank you,
that was
Katie.
fun. We had a good discussion.
They're not a
Yeah.
hashtag,
of
dude.
some cool stuff. I think we got to talk a lot
Thank
about
you.
community and stuff that's important to people.
Doing creative
Yeah.
stuff.
and kind of how people got
Yeah, it
involved doing
was
what they were
cool,
doing.
Man. I loved it. I was really
Adam
sad that I
talked a
missed
bunch. It was crazy.
it. Yeah, you were.
Who's
dude.
Adam?
He's over there with like giant headphones on, trying to pretend that he's like DJ Adam or something. But
Wicka.
wow. Anyway, I'm scared.
DJ Shaolin, Adam.
So there was a game on Friday.
Yeah.
The Sounders played in Vancouver.
Woo.
Yeah.
Vancouver, British Columbia.
Man.
That is.
How many
The
people
real
went up there?
Vancouver.
It was a few, right? I saw a
It's
lot.
good you didn't go.
No, I didn't. Yeah.
Because you're like 1 for a million
Yeah,
or something.
two.
Two?
Oh, wait,
Up to
Hugo
2?
wasn't there.
And both of them were for cups. So.
Well,
when
I'm
it
talking
matters the
about
most-
like Cascadia stuff.
Well, that was one of them. The Cascadia Cup.
Wait.
The last time we won it.
Could it
was
have
in
gotten worse
Vancouver.
if he had gone?
Probably not.
Okay.
So,
Fredy could have gotten a hat trick.
damn.
Yeah.
Let's not go there.
No, last time I was there, Gonzalo Pineda had a sweet goal to secure.
Was it this one?
It was that one. It was totally that one to secure the Cascadia Cup for us last time.
He's a sounder at heart.
Yeah.
So,
What's a
anyway.
sounder?
Nice plug. Nice.
So that game happened.
Yeah.
I'm going to kind of toss to Dave, I think, for some actual serious soccer analysis for a minute. And I know that
Tom missed the pre.
no, I didn't miss the pre-show, but I know that you've actually paid attention and read some
No,
things.
you missed
and-
the pre-show then.
You mean the part where you had audio and then
Yeah, I did radio
Yeah.
only on the drive up because I went totally disconnected and was in the cabin out like on a beach on Fidalgo Island.
Wow.
So it was good to escape from
better
technology.
Woods.
better than us.
Better than Cabin in the Woods.
Also,
Yeah, no one died. And so my experience for the game was interesting. There were
Random.
technical difficulties on the radio side and
in
the
fact,
TV
the
side.
TV, everyone had the technical
Yeah.
difficulties on the TV.
Oh, they
side,
were worse
so
on the radio side.
Really?
great.
They-
That's
they,
awesome.
They came back at one point with just crowd noise.
What did they say was
This was a Joe
and then
TV,
they
right?
And no, it was Q13.
15.
Oh,
I think the best part was
It wasn't from the source, or it was from the source, not from the stations involved. that
So
had the
let's talk
problems.
about the broadcasting
Yeah.
for a second.
Yeah.
All long-term comments aside, I think one of the funniest parts of it for me was they go to toss to Steve on the sideline, and then they just give it time. I guess Steve is talking, and maybe Casey heard him. I'm not really sure.
Right.
And then at the end, Casey just goes, I'm going to have to agree with Steve on that one. And I can't tell if he was making a joke about the dead air or that he actually heard what Steve had to say and was agreeing. So it worked out either way for
It's a win-win.
Casey Keller. But that was pretty indicative of the broadcast that was.
And a good sign for the result for the night.
Oh, we had the radio side. There was a lot of like Jason Rance and Danny Jackson talking from the KRO studio about what they were observing on the TV.
That's
Because they lost
fantastic.
the audio. Yeah.
So anyway,
Jason
Will
Ray.
Bruin scored a kick-ass goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
I did get to see that. hold on to your
Why do I
mic.
have to have the awkward microphone?
I have it too.
That's
better-
what
it's
happens
better
when
you
you
than
show
me.
up last.
That is what happens when we
Not
show up
the only
last.
So yeah, you wanted to talk tactical stuff about soccer and whatnot.
I want to
I
have.
mean, I talked to Schmetzer and
we can
Bruin
move the
about that
arm
today.
over.
Yes, I would like to hear your serious feedback on
Seriously,
the game.
like what they said. What do you think?
One of the things that Vancouver did was seed wide spaces and allow the Sounders to succeed out there. And they kind of did the right thing and got a lot of half chances and partial chances and
Long distance shots.
stuff in heavy traffic, crosses at the head. And like they're low percentage, but they got a lot of them. And what's unique is because of how Vancouver defended by letting Jovan and O'Neill in particular succeed wide, that meant they packed the 18. And already, Waston is a hell of a defender.
Anyway,
Particularly in
He's
the
all
air.
right.
Like, balls in the air is what he excels at. That's like his gig. It's like those idiots last year that when the Sounders added Torres and they're like, well, we're just going to cross it into Marshall and Torres. And you're like,
okay.
you're a damn moron.
Please
In this case, it was just Waston. So it's not a horrible idea, but it does create difficulties because you can't get... It's harder to get guys on the end of that or get them on it successfully. And so... But at the same point, if that's what the team's giving you, you got to take it. Because if you're going into a packed 18 with the ball at your feet, you're almost certainly not going to succeed. So you have to find ways to get the ball in more creative spaces, and that involves using 3 dimensions rather than 2, and you got to play the ball up in the air a little bit. Didn't quite work out. It's something that, they've been kind of cross-happy this year, and they're working on how to make more effective crosses. Some of the things that I've seen them work on is that low but off the ground
the one
ball.
that he scored on.
They're working more on those a lot in practice, and moving the ball quickly through crowds is another thing that they're trying to do. That was a lot of what the theme was today.
Right.
Was small play in crowded spaces, and if you work on that, you'll eventually succeed.
So has anything come up of the? And again, I'm sort of commenting as a person who watched this on television. There really does seem to be something very, very different about Ladero, Morris, Dempsey than Ladero, Morris, anyone else.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're like in the same spot or they're trying to be in the same spot together, but like there's something not good
Totally.
about Ladero and Dempsey.
Yeah.
And like Dempsey's still doing what Dempsey does, but there doesn't seem to be like flow.
This is what it feels like to me. It feels like last year they let Nico, while Dempsey wasn't there, but Nico would flow and go wherever he wanted and be creative. And now it seems that Dempsey is more forced into that role or taking the lead on that role. And Nico's kind of in a specific area now. And it just doesn't feel like it's working like it did before.
It just feels clunky
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know how else to put it.
To me, it just feels like Nico's not being let go to be free and be creative.
Long-winded, short version. There
I'm gonna
seems to
ignore
be
the
some
Vancouver
confusion
game.
Arrow.
for sure.
And Jeremiah did like deep dive stats, used Harrison Crow's work at American Soccer Analysis, getting those advanced metrics and whatnot. And there's no evidence that they're working together poorly this year versus last. The team is much, much, much better with those two on the field than it is without those two on the field. Remember the first 4 games of Nico's career was as a Sounder was brilliant and extraordinary.
Oh,
But that first match, so it was at Los Angeles.
LA 1-1.
That first match, he looked like he was the general on the field. He was putting through balls
yes.
out there, left and right. He looked like he was owning the situation. He looks like a guy who happens to be playing on the Sounders and is a very good player. He's not running point on
Yeah,
the
he's
offense.
not running the show.
I think Nico's been a little.
He looks like
slow
he's
to
on a
start
team with 3
this year.
point guards, like
But-
basketball.
And he kind of mentioned it in one of the interviews. I think I heard in Spanish saying that it seems that players have gotten used to his style a little bit and adjusted to him.
the defense. You mean.
Yeah, the defense. But even then, I completely agree, man. Like, he's not the man. Last season, he was the man.
I mean, they look like an eminently average team right now, which is
At least
frustrating.
on the final
but
third of the attack.
but at the same point, they've also played 4 of their 6 games have been on the road,
road.
and
You're not going to get a good feel until
teams
you
look
see 3,
bad
4,
on
5
the road,
more
and
games.
we want
And when
to.
they were home, they looked good.
They looked
Really good.
really good against New York,
Yep.
and they looked entertaining, if frustratingly ineffective, against Atlanta.
And I was with a lot of second,
For
squad.
both teams.
Yeah.
Both teams were missing key personnel in that one. But it's early, and I'm not saying that because look what happened last year. I'm just saying that because they're on the road for 4 or 6 games, and it's early. You look at where the standings are, and Portland looks to be legit. But like you look at Houston, and they played 4 games at home, and they have 3 wins and a draw.
Yeah.
That makes the table look really good for Houston
Right.
until you look at
And
they
Dallas.
have 2 losses on the road.
Right.
So there's some weird stuff happening because of the way that the schedules start, and it's something that probably winds up.
Yeah.
This way in the beginning.
I don't
it
think
winds
there's
up
any
neutral
like
in
sky is
April,
falling
probably.
No.
happening.
There's no
It just,
the P word's not coming.
I
out
think
yet.
what you just said though is the best way to put it. It's like
Picnic.
they look
Picnic,
like,
yeah.
but they look like a decidedly average team.
on the final third.
And I just
No, I mean the defense is pretty good. Possession is good.
Possession feels great.
Yeah, yeah.
But the thing is, like, you can connect 85% of your passes between 3 players all the time. But if you're just kicking the ball around in a triangle and there's no
But they
forward
weren't-
movement, who
that
cares?
is it, man. Like there's no
Like they don't.
Attack.
There's no.
slice and
It,
attack.
to me, they don't look threatening, ever. Like they're scoring goals like Chris Wondolowski does, and that's okay. But that's not the offense that this is.
Does that
and
change
right now,
though
if
if
Jovan
Clint Dempsey's
Jones
45-yard goal
goes in,
Yeah.
maybe.
So
But
we're talking about
over
a
like a
singular
3-game
moment
span,
changing
no,
that.
it doesn't. I think it changes the scoreline, but that dude watched that goal
yeah.
early in the day and was like, I could put one in from there.
Yeah.
And so
He
the-
probably did see it on
You
it.
ha-
He
you know
probably
he's
saw
that
it on his
guy.
phone. Did you see what David Villa did? Oh, I can do that.
Yeah.
So anyway, no, I get your point because I think winning changes every opinion, no matter what you're talking about.
I'm not
However,
even talking about winning. I'm talking about
goal, they don't
Clint
feel threatening. though.
posted and crossbarred. And in
Twice.
practice day, he did it 3 times, and he was like,
Yeah.
it would be hard for me to repeat the words because I didn't hear them quite clearly, but they probably were R-rated words that don't wind up on national television
Sometimes they do.
after 10 p.m.
Cinemax.
No. Sometimes they accidentally
So,
do.
I think there's a little bit of frustration there, and they may be trying to be a little bit too precise.
And that could be.
And that happened a lot in like 09 to 011, like the first half of 011, the first kind of 2.5 years of MLS Soundersdom. They would try to just like walk it into the goal, and you're like,
Yeah.
you can't do that, guys.
But I have to say, like if you watch them play, there's 2 center backs that are spread out a little bit. The outside backs are playing, pretty serious midfield
Yeah, pretty
wingers, which is fantastic to watch. And that Oriel Fisher guy, he's pretty fantastic. But seriously though, like those 2. That was actually fun to see. Like, know what Jones is going to do. They're letting him bring the ball up, or he's bringing the ball up, irrelevant of what the defense wants to do. But it was fun to see Fisher really get in on it
Yeah.
a number of times on Friday
and
night.
Rodon and Honey Badger
Are fine.
Are on point. On point.
Yeah, I think there's no stress there. Like, I'm not worried about Fry. The center of the defense
So,
feels fine.
a
It
little
just
bit,
feels
though.
like there's something weird
Yeah,
from that
I'm
point
starting
forward.
to see that.
It's time to pick.
I want Torres back, man. I know he's having a rough start.
Nice.
And I know Gustav's a good, utility player. But man, we don't have that threatening middle.
When did we get Brad? back?
Torres, man.
really soon. You know who was
Yeah, I
fully
won't
100% in practice today that kind of excited me? Aaron Kovar.
Oh.
Nice.
The forgotten forward.
he
Jesus,
has-
Remember
let's,
at the
let's make
tail-
it harder to pick a
Yeah.
lineup.
Everybody's
Yeah.
favorite frowning son.
Wow.
So that'll get, and at the end of his string of starts was when he was goal dangerous
He
as
was,
a
man.
midfielder.
He was.
They're like, shoot it more, shoot it.
Dude, and man,
And
he's been
he also
busting his
offers some
butt to try
speed to
back.
get back on, which is something that basically they have from their two fullbacks and Jordan Morris, and that's the only guys
Yeah.
that are. I mean,
threatening speed, guys.
Roldan's fast, but he's starting 2 lines back,
Yep.
so
Yeah.
that it's hard to sprint past 2 lines. That's something that basically a DeAndre Yedlin type can do, and not many others. So that's not going to add speed. But Aaron Kovar can add some speed. He can add some crossing accuracy. He can add some free kick accuracy. He can add some corners that are more effective, maybe. I haven't seen him out there practicing those lately,
Him
but that's one
over,
thing.
Wingo.
Him over Nico because they're both
I said
left-footed.
Wingo.
Yeah, but
Nico.
well, they're left-footed, and the
Gotcha.
team really wants in-swinging
They want
corners,
swingers, yeah. So
which is why Harry sometimes takes them from the left corner.
No, I would have liked to seen Flacco in that last sub. Instead of
I was
Wingo.
just talking about Flacco at practice today.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Think back all the way back to 2011,
That's a long time ago.
and I'm interviewing 2011 Tom, Mark, and Hugo. Right
that was
now.
a year.
Ooh, that was a
So-
Steve year. Yeah, that was a great year.
So 2011, Hugo. Alvaro Fernandez is going to come back to the Sounders in 2017. He'll have won an MLS Cup, and he's now a defensive substitute. What do you think about that 2011,
no
Hugo?
way. Are you crazy? No way.
I mean, think about that now. Like,
Yeah.
that's what Alvaro Fernandez is.
Yeah.
He's a lockdown winger. Like,
Yeah.
he shuts that side down. And, when we go back to what he used to be, like, he did that far post
Slashing.
madness, that slasher, that possession. He's still got the possession game. But he's not a scoring threat anymore.
No.
And he stays on his feet maybe a little too often. I kind of want him to go down.
That was a good year.
2011
great
was
year.
Fredy with 12 goals.
Ugh.
Cascadia Cup.
Oh,
U.S. Open Cup.
oh.
That was Open Cup number
Second.
3.
Second
All
overall.
kinds of sexy to me right now.
Second overall record in the league.
Oh,
Yes, 63 points, but
Yeah.
it's only good for second.
that's crazy.
That was a good year.
yeah, that was good. Damn
Probably
good
the
year.
second or third best, depending on how you define, oddly, last year. 2011, 2014, 2016. Those are like when the Sounders were their best.
Wow, plus 19.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
So in the next team, RSL had 10 less points than them and were plus 8.
Wow.
And they were only -1 from the Galaxy.
And
That's
we have
crazy.
that kind of potential with these
That
guys,
was-
man.
Right,
And
it's
that was the-
firepower.
And
Like,
let's remember the beginning of 2011 as we roll back the clock away. Had Steve Zakuani and O'Brien
And he
White.
was on fire.
oh,
and the-
OB
Well,
Dub.
So
and
we had
here's-
Steve Zakuani in left, O'Brien White as a target forward, Fredy Montero playing behind him, and it looked like that would be an unstoppable offense. And after about 6 weeks, you had no Zakuani, no O'Brien White.
O'Brien.
You had no idea what would happen. And then Alvaro Fernandez happens. Then that's the Mike Facito doesn't ever score, but the team always wins when he starts. year.
So, and for perspective on that, okay. So, what are we in week 6? Is
Yeah,
this the
we played six.
Played six.
Played six.
Okay. So that team after 6 matches was had 1 win, 3 draws, 2 losses.
That sounds like a familiar record.
Yeah. And that was a really
Damn,
good
that's-
team, which is why like you can't really be negative.
Yeah, yeah. There's no
You-
panic button.
I have no
anywhere.
panic,
hate
but I
that.
just I look at it and I'm like, yeah.
Something's off.
So
Yeah.
something's off. But as we were talking, the beginning of that season started with Steve Zakuani and O'Brien
Yeah.
White looking like all stars, both of them.
You know
Yeah.
what I would like to
So
try?
and we don't really have that right now. We don't have any, but I don't. Actually, Roldan might be an all-star right now, but
Yep.
there's no attacking player
Yeah,
that
no
looks like
Yeah,
an
yeah,
all-star,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, it feels like we have a lot of good paper players.
Yes. You know what? It's like, and
But again, in one game, Deuce could have had a brace right there.
Yeah.
Like just woodwork.
I would be no.
It's a fun little Vancouver game.
Like it's we're in a in a good situation that, some players are playing well, some are not, but there's tinkering to do. At this point, early in the beginning of the year, I would like to see Jordan on the outside, man. I don't know if he's been as productive at top this year as he could be if we maybe give him some space and put him off to the side.
Remember when he scored five goals in 5 games?
Yeah, but when was that?
Last year, about this time, when he started up top.
Was it after or
By
before
himself.
he got a game to rest?
By the way, do you know how many
Those would
goals
be 4.
Flacco had that season?
9 regular
11.
season.
All
11,
in,
all
11.
competitions.
Wow.
Yeah.
He likes that season a lot. You know what his high in any other season in any
Like
other team is?
3.
2.
Tyson Wall.
Yeah.
So I really like the 2011 season.
Yeah, it's
That's a
beautiful.
good. So that's a
Flacco lets me
good
remind
level
people
setter,
about that.
honestly. So
To
like
compare
good,
this, yeah.
good comparison, good level setter. I knew you'd have perspective, while the rest of us are like, "Fuck."
And while it's never time to panic, it's always time to picnic.
It
I
is
strongly
always.
recommend
Seriously.
more picnics in your life.
Yeah.
I want to talk to the people that run Sporting Kansas City and tell them it's time to picnic all the time, because it is.
Yeah.
Pretzel?
Brendan and I picnicked in San Jose.
Anyone? Somebody out here ordered a pretzel at the Berliner Pub.
Pretzel?
Right.
Anybody want a pretzel?
Wasn't me.
Okay, Shaggy.
We don't have an errand today.
So anyway. So anything else specific about the game? There were flies on the field everywhere.
That was weird.
well.
But
They were on
The
one.
lights.
They were one camera well, right?
Yeah. It was great. Flies, by the one ECS player of the match, and it wasn't close.
Really?
They had 50% of the votes. Jovan Jones, who I thought would do really well, nope.
Wow.
Yep. Meanwhile, he had a stellar game.
No, man. I think we kind of went overall pretty good. I think it
I want to
you-
shout out to the Southsiders.
For what?
Their Stranger Things inspired Cascadia Kings.
Great.
Tifo was pretty nifty.
They checked a box.
You know what happens if you don't do the layups? You did nothing. You
Agreed.
got it.
Agreed.
You got to
I
bring
mean,
up that.
I'll
you-
say publicly that the rivalry is pretty mellow right now.
Well-
Yeah.
Like not supporter group rivalry. Like the Vancouver Seattle rivalry is pretty tame.
Yeah.
Like casuals don't. They're like, that's a rival. There's a team in Vancouver, Whereas like it's not Portland.
It
It
might-
never
well-
will be. But for a team that has
It might be the
beaten
fourth biggest rival, and then you start getting into not really rival.
But for a
territory.
team that's like running away with Cascadia Cups,
I totally see it as a shrug.
good
like,
for
eh.
them. But
No,
it's
and
kind of
it-
like, yeah.
if you and your team holds it, then
agreed.
you brag about it to the idiots that come up north. What's that?
It was Curva Collective.
Wow,
Curva Collective.
computer, what the
I'm sorry, I didn't keep track of Vancouver splintering. Like they've got Rain City Brigade, Curva Collectives, Southsiders.
Nicest supporter group for that supporter group.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
nice.
they've split up so many times that like they didn't start a bunch of independent ones. They all used to be Southsiders and then bickering.
And I have to say, like, I had gone to most of the Vancouver games. This is the first one I haven't gone to since like 2013 or 14 or something.
Right.
And I have to say, on TV, the "You Suck" is fairly amusing on television because they know they're being
They know-
jerks
yeah,
about
it's
it.
funny.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty funny.
One thing that
Fuck you, Mark.
I mean, I kind of like it that the rivalry aspect is merely about what happens on the field for them. Kind of like the Sounders and RSL one, except RSL's been better than Vancouver, so it's a little bit.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
it's not like the
I
stupid
think,
LA.
I think
and
we
You know what,
definitely have
though?
a more heated rivalry with RSL than we do with Vancouver.
Yeah, I would say the Sounders Vancouver thing is
Hate
about
going
head to head.
RSL.
The Sounders Portland is about every game, and it's not that
Yeah.
like you're up against them at all, but like you genuinely want them to lose, like actively
Yes.
want them to lose
Like
every
all
week.
the time.
I'm like, oh, Vancouver played like other
Oh,
weeks,
that's
like
cute.
it's just not even.
Yeah,
a
unless
thing.
it's like the deciding game of the Cascadia Cup, it's not going to be at the same level of intensity.
But I still love that one
It's-
where Preston Burpo got to hold the Cascadia Cup after having lost it in the USL era to Vancouver. at
Kinda
points.
cool.
That one was cool.
Yeah.
And I'm going to like it when the Sounders win it again. Probably isn't the last of the Cascadia Cups this year at Vancouver again?
I don't know, but we're gonna win that.
Or is it
might-
hosting Vancouver on
It
that
might be
Wednesday?
hosting Vancouver.
That
Is-
dumb one?
Oh no, it's 2-1.
It's 2 up there.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Would Derek mean mug Brad Evans again?
Here, Wednesday away. Yeah. Let's win before then.
Yeah.
Would Derek mean mug Brad Evans again?
Yes.
Stop. Stop. Let's not lose Cascadia Cup
No.
at all. Anyway,
It's so weird to watch that game on TV because literally nobody in their stadium stands.
They only see when they win.
Off mic, everybody's talking about how they don't sing.
it is really
By
cool
everybody
though
won.
that they say thank you and you're welcome to the PA announcer. What is that?
Do
Yeah,
they?
but they
Yeah,
say,
but
"Oh
that-
yeah,
No.
James Ward, the
Yeah.
stadium voice, is like, they're just trying to be
Canadian
Yeah. Yeah, it's a Byron thing.
Byron."
Jake is mentioning that it's a Byron thing, the thank you and you're welcome.
Yes.
And I mean, a lot of stuff is borrowed. You know, the Sounders in
Everything's
season 1
borrowed.
didn't say player
Yeah.
name, player first name, and repeat the last name. That's something that grew. So
I
I
don't
like the thank you and you're welcome. Talking to your fans is a good thing.
It's actually funny to me though because it's Canada,
Yeah.
so it's almost like more appropriate for
Yes.
them. So to me, it's like very on brand. I don't have any issue as a supporter with the borrowed, the changing, the whatever.
Right.
It's I think when you do, if that's all you ever do, it just is silly. But like good songs are good songs at the end of the
Yep.
day, and there are songs that whether you're in Mexico or you're in Chile or you're in, well, not
Argentina.
London, but or in 10 cities in the U.S., it's the same tune, different lyrics, you know, and there's the songs like Orto and whatnot that are just fantastic in
Yeah,
three different
let's
languages.
go.
Can I brag
No.
about Bara for a little bit?
You can.
Can I
I know
brag
you
about
do.
Heather?
You may.
I need to brag
Heather.
about Bara real quick because one of Sounder Art's writers, all he does is translate stuff for us because automated translation, you sometimes miss nuance. And so he is.
No, you
he's our
don't
Spanish
say.
Translator.
Who is
You
that?
say.
Do I know him?
He was on the bus,
Oh, nice.
and a Bara member was the bus captain.
Heather, I believe, was
And they
one of the,
sang the La Bamba bass tune.
Yeah.
Sing it for me right now. You go, you know
Yeah.
it?
Para ganar los Sounders, para ganar los Sounders se necesita meter muchos goles.
Yeah.
Meter muchos goles aquí y allá, aquí y
Aquí y
allá,
allá,
aquí y allá. Vamos Sounders.
Vamos, Sounders. Vamos,
Yeah, so
Sounders.
he's
You
like-
left me hanging.
And he's like, I have no idea when they added this, but it's already my favorite song.
It's really good.
So-
It is, man.
And that's a fun
props
one
to
that, like,
Heather on the bus. and
Tried in
whoever
the
else is
bar,
watching it.
tried in a couple of different places, and that one caught on real fast.
Yeah, especially towards
What
the end
was
of
the
last
bar
season.
that it first was tried at?
Probably.
Was it the Berliner?
Pub.
Ahead of the curve.
The Berliner pub in Renton?
Ahead of the curve.
Just
Ahead
off
of
of 3rd and Main.
Yeah,
Nice.
nice.
Check it out.
Yeah, someone should.
Anyway, shout out to the Berliner.
Shout out to Bara.
Good shout out.
Yeah, it was fun
It's a
to
fun song.
hear
It
that
is a
because
fun song.
it's
I know I've talked to enough of the Bara members that we're trying to grow that, and you know I come
Yeah.
here a little bit because it's down the road, and watching them grow that song has
Yeah,
been
there's a lot of pride with
fun.
that song. A lot of pride with that song.
And
Well-
Torres loves it too.
at the end of the day, like getting new songs in
Yes.
is hard.
It is hard.
And part of it's just in any
taken us a
given
couple
week you
years.
have a few hundred people
Yep.
that are new.
Yep.
You know, just law of large numbers, and you're gonna have the rest of the groups. It's like, oh, I don't get that, or it's a different capo, or it's really sunny, or whatever the factor is. We all had too much to drink at the pregame. You know,
yeah,
whatever
never,
it is.
never do a new song
Like,
in like
no,
the 70th
that-
minute because
that-
everybody's
There's
already
always
drunk.
something. You try it before the
Yeah.
game, and you're
Somebody
like,
heard my joke over there. I appreciate it.
yeah.
That
You-
song happened because of the Berliner pub and the away viewings. Because there was a dedicated crew of like 5 people that every away viewing they tried it until it caught on, and enough people heard it that at the the turning point was really when Roman
the Western
danced.
Conference Final.
Yeah.
And the players,
Yeah.
particularly Torres, but I think
Well, and
Flacco
people have
was
watched
there,
that
and
video
Alonso was
50
there.
times now, But I will
Yeah.
say, like, it got demoed in the section.
Yep.
And it was okay.
Yep.
And then the second time it came up, it was fantastic. So it's neat to see.
It is.
And,
It is.
You're going to get a new song every
there's-
other year,
Yeah,
basically.
there's already a lot of hype trying to get a couple more going.
Yeah.
practicing them and trying them. So there's a new one that's coming down the pipe. I'm excited.
So, and it's great to use, what is one of like American rock's iconic
Yes.
songs
Yeah.
too. And
Yes.
that's getting that iconic melody is one of you got to have a hook.
Yeah. Well,
You
and
gotta
that's
have
a funny
something
one,
that's
too.
easy that anybody,
Right.
non-Spanish
and that's the trick.
speakers.
And the funny thing is,
Can click.
non-Spanish speakers can sing the Spanish words of that song because they've heard it a million times and they're like, I don't know what I'm saying, but I know like the cadence of those words,
but
and
that's
it
why-
made it a lot easier.
We had talked about a month ago about the Vigalta Sendai
Yeah.
and how they sing "Take Me Home"
Yep.
at every game.
Yeah.
They have no idea what the words are, but it's got a tune that everybody knows. And, that's one of those other ones. That one, and what's the one that started out of Chievo Verona and got famous in
don't know.
Argentina, and now
Oh, I
that
know what
everybody's
you're
doing
talking
Dale.
Oh, Dolly. Yeah.
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 And that's
And
one where
literally
nobody knows.
everyone does it.
Every group in the world
Yeah,
does a
I remember,
version
like,
of
3
it.
years
Like
ago,
multiple groups in the same stadium do that song.
we thought about doing it like 3 or
Some-
4 years ago, and, then we're like,
and
nah.
and some people just make it, kind of this. I want to call it instrumental, but that's not the word for it. Somebody with better mute.
Acapella.
Well, but it's not a cappella because it's non-lyrical. Non-lyrical a cappella, is that a thing? Like they're not
Well,
saying
no, it's not acapella. It's
they're not
it's
saying
that
words.
it's just la. It's
it's
just
sounds.
Sound.
It's just sounds from voices.
It's not scatting.
Although, can we scat in the section?
No,
that was a quick no. Damn. Give him some hope.
I'm just
dog.
going with the alternate definition of that word right now.
I'm going to talk to Pels, see if we can get some Mel Torme going.
Wow.
There'll be like 7 people in the section old enough to know Mel Torme.
Seriously,
I'm not one of them.
There'll be 14 people in the section old enough to remember Night
so
Court from Oscar.
how many people here went to Vancouver?
Oh,
We got
3.
We have 3 hands up right now, but I think 2 people
And
that
there's
have
2
stepped
who-
out.
yeah.
Both of them were there too.
So
we had 5 people that were there.
a fair chunk of people went to Vancouver, which was pretty cool.
Respect and love. Thank you.
So a little teaser
Yeah,
is coming up on soundardheart.com whenever Dave can get internet access again. Might be tonight or might be when we're off the show, is what players did with their time off. Because they had an actual Saturday and Sunday off during the season, which is rather rare. Brian Schmetzer just hung out in Vancouver. Ozzy Alonso posted to his Instagram, took a tour of the Canadian Cascades, that coastline up north of Whistler,
Oh yeah.
and it's
Ooh.
freaking awesome. He has
that's because the Sea to Sky Highway is the best thing ever.
Oh no, he was in an airplane.
When he went up there and then flew from
He
Vancouver.
yeah, did a
even better.
Flight tour.
Oh, see, now I'm
Ballin'.
super jealous. I thought it was go
Yeah.
up and then fly
See,
around.
the sky
Yeah.
is fun enough. Like
Yeah.
you go
But
to
it's like
Squamish,
50
and you go
miles
to
an
House
hour,
Sound
so
Brewery,
let's
and
not do that.
Whistler and yeah, they expanded it for the Olympics. So that's one of the things we
That's awesome.
touched
Nice.
on. Talked to Bruin. Got a little quote from Henry
Yeah, I
Wingo,
wonder
and
how
then I've
he's
got
liking the
I've got
Northwest.
long form with Roldan on his time, his weekend, because he just likes to talk. And
Love
as
it.
a guy who was
We
on
really need to get him
SonarFeed,
back. We really need to get him
like
back.
the day after he was drafted, he's got kind of a connection
Yeah.
to anybody who's been on this show. So he talked to me for probably 6 or 7 minutes just about Seattle becoming like
About
an
Brett.
adopted hometown.
Yeah.
Brett came to practice last week. when she
Excellent.
was
On spring break,
or
yeah.
2 weeks
2
ago.
weeks ago,
Spring,
yeah.
spring break. And both Christian and Jordan made certain to reach out to her and say hello. Jordan gave her a big hug even. And getting Brett to pay attention to like what to do as media after that was a little
It was
difficult.
over. Right.
Had
You
to find
should have
a
just
reset.
sent her home. Like,
Funny thing
Had to
is
find
that
Control Alt Delete to reset her operating
the
system.
funny thing is that she probably is more composed than any of us.
then
would
pretty
be.
much everybody else. Oh my God, Gordon Morris, talk to me.
So that was, I mean, yeah. So that's some stuff that we have coming up because 2 of the 5 people that'll be in that story stayed in the Vancouver area.
Nice.
Well, that's fun.
That is fun, man. That's
So,
cool.
good
so we
that they
talked
get
about
to-
Sounders from last week. S2 played a
Won.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
LA too.
So that happened.
That
Beating
did
LA
happen.
Los
2
Dos.
is huge.
Yeah.
On the road,
Yeah.
even bigger. And because if there's one thing that LA has done right in their Landon Keene,
Post.
like post Landon Keene transition, LA 2
This
is incredible. The talent that they're producing, Dave Romney, who's like a first team starter from there.
Yeah.
I'm probably forgetting a couple of the other guys, but they've done a great job transitioning. Like all of their 18, like all of their bench is from LA too.
Who came
So
from
they've
there?
been doing-
Steris?
No, Steris came from the Sounders. Back when
Who
the
was it?
Sounders had a
Oh, that is
reserve
right.
team.
Okay. Who? But isn't there somebody that's playing for them now that's like a regular?
They're Dave Romney. They're right
No,
back.
there's somebody else on that team. Anyway, sorry for derail.
Hold on. Roy Lassiter's kid, Ari Lassiter, is a regular on the bench, getting
Maybe
playing
that's who it
time.
is. I can't remember.
Roy
Anyway,
Lassiter, who's currently employed by Pac Northwest. Zardes played a little bit for LA too, but they've done a great job with LA too, and part of it is they have the LA market to themselves, which is a huge advantage right now.
Yeah.
That's starting to shrink, but they've had some great talent there. So that the Sounders and particularly S2 was able to win down there is a good feather to.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it definitely is.
So, you're getting the fire on the screen.
yeah, it's very
that
romantic.
is-
We were told it was romantic.
It is.
Oh no! Now
y'all should kiss.
I'm gonna catch fire.
So getting that win is good, and it was Ray Sari, who wasn't even drafted, undrafted free agent, following the Seahawks.
So just so you guys know, that dude, at least the game that I watched him play the last home match, was very aggressive. Was not backing down from anybody, and he's a little guy.
Yeah, they
I
have
mean-
him and
He's like Honey Badger. I hate to compare, but dudes, I liked him. He got a yellow card though, but I like
he had
that he
both
had no
assists, too.
fear. Yeah,
he completed 93.7% of his passes.
telling you.
And the way this team uses, like this organization uses its central midfielders, that's a fun little central midfield pairing. You've got Sari, who we just mentioned, number 88.
Sorry.
Basically just spooning right there.
Yeah, it's great. I love when Mark makes out with me. And then the other S2's other defensive midfield starter, Francisco Narbon.
Yeah, tall guy, fast.
Yeah, already has
responds
2
quickly.
appearances with the Panamanian national team.
What?
Not the U20s, the full squad.
No.
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
Ooh.
And so, like, Chenkem, who
reminds me.
scored, is a Cameroonian U20 player.
Yeah, he's real young.
Most of Narbonne's time is with the Panamanian U20s, and he played for FC Cincinnati last year, which was real legit and
They
competitive.
had a huge crowd this weekend, by the way.
Yeah, just 23,000.
Only 23,000 at a Jeez. That's just
That was awful.
It is, by the way, it is not the largest home open, or it is the largest home opener for a D2 team in American soccer history, but it is not the largest single game crowd for a US D2 soccer team. You know who has that? I have this trivia. This is great.
How are you?
Somebody has to guess at my trivia. What? Cincinnati, with their 23,000 plus, had the largest home opener crowd for a Division II U.S. soccer team. Who had the largest ever crowd for a single game U.S. Division II?
Cosmos.
I'm gonna tell you a secret. You root for the team.
Seattle Sounders.
The Seattle Sounders against the
What?
Vancouver Whitecaps in the first ever competitive match at what was then known as Seahawks Stadium.
Yeah.
The soft open to Seahawks Stadium was a USL 1 game between the Sounders and the Vancouver Whitecaps in like a July of
Damn.
2. 2 or
Dave
3.
is gangster
And
with
had
his
like
knowledge.
about
It would've been-
25,000
so
people.
gangster.
It would have been 2 if it was soft
Yeah,
open.
It was a soft open, so 2. And 25,000. And as
Respect.
a reminder, that's the supposed football-only stadium, the first ever sporting event.
So while we're talking about non-MLS, the only other thing from last week that I wanted to make sure we touched on was Drogba
His part owner.
and Phoenix.
Yeah.
Phoenix Rising.
What is it, like the 85th team in Phoenix in the last 5 seasons or something?
The only
This is
thing
their
I reminded of that is
Fourth brand in 4 seasons, I
What?
believe. Third brand in 3.
No.
Maxi's tweet, master stroke.
For real.
They've got a weird thing going there. They use basically like an erector set stadium. It has beautiful grass. They got about 7,000 people for their 2 home games. They're
you
up in the
serious?
Scottsdale area. They're no longer playing like the first Phoenix team at the pro level played in the Glendale Stadium.
Yeah.
Where the Peoria, where the Mariners play. And then they went to a Scottsdale baseball stadium, and now they're just on like county fairgrounds where they just set up this, and it's totally like expandable. And now they're going to add more sections and tiers and whatnot, and they'll get probably to 10K for Drogba's first game. They have some interesting players on that team. Here, you guys remember Blair Gavin, former
Oh,
draft
yeah.
picks,
Yep.
right out for the Sounders?
Yeah.
He's probably USL talent, right? It's like if he was in the USL, you'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. He's
Yeah,
not
that
quite an
does make
MLS
sense.
guy.
Yeah.
Like high draft pick. Yeah, he's a bench midfielder for them. You know why? They have Sean Wright Phillips, Omar Bravo, Didier Drogba.
They have Omar Bravo?
Yeah.
The
I texted-
Omar Bravo?
Oh, you want me to pull up the text?
Dude.
A month ago when I sent
And
it to
Sean
you?
Wright Phillips.
Yeah, but
And Sean Wright Phillips. And they have the third Rooney, Luke Rooney. So there's Wayne Rooney, who everybody knows. There's John Rooney, who was once drafted in MLS, played for Orlando City in USL. Then there's Luke Rooney, the
hold
third
on,
brother.
they
who's
have
not
Omar
as-
Bravo, the Chivas?
Fuck, man, you're gonna make me look this up. It's right
Dude.
on.
Dude,
I
but I
texted it.
didn't, like,
I'm pulling up the group text to show you when I sent the
Wow.
Omar Bravo news to you.
I remember, but it didn't click till you named all these guys.
That's
that
okay.
are,
I forgot about Omar Bravo when I was
Yeah.
at practice last week.
You know,
Oh, and their owner. So their owner is a big music producer.
new owner, because the last owner I heard was
The
not
current
cool.
owner.
Yeah.
Is a big time music producer, and the minority owner is EDM
DJ.
DJ Diplo.
Isn't
And
it
that's-
what's
It's
his face?
Diplo's
from
producer.
Fall Out Boy?
That's Diplo, I believe.
No, Diplo's not from Fall Out Boy.
Who's the
So,
So-
which Bradley Phillips is with Arizona?
Sean
It's
Wright
Sean.
Phillips,
All right.
who used to play for Man City. And then
Where did they get all this money?
They've got EDM people.
yeah, they got EDM
Damn,
dudes.
all the
like-
raves.
yeah, and so their whole goal, they want to get to. So their goal is MLS. Their goal is an open air, 25 to 30,000 seat stadium with like that Qatari,
Noise.
that Qatari air conditioning that they use in open air, which basically can run off of solar power.
Yeah.
I mean, it uses a ass load of energy to do it, but it's an interesting roster.
So
Wow.
I want to derail for a second because you brought up Sean Wright Phillips,
Yeah.
and I forgot about this when I was flipping games on MLS Live this weekend.
We're talking the goal.
Yeah.
The Bradley Wright Phillips goal.
Oh no, not that.
So he scores a goal. I think it's his 72nd for Red Bulls in what is it, 4
or 5
seasons?
years.
Well, he's in the 4th season, whatever. 72nd goal, and Sasha I think passed this ball, and it was just like this not scary play in the midfield.
Ooh, that
He's
looks
literally
good.
just running around, and then he just starts cutting in. Sasha just passes this ball into the area, and he just runs past the 2 guys to the ball, and then wickets the keeper.
Yeah.
And that's when you're like, that guy's horrifying.
Yeah.
He's so good.
Yeah.
Speaking of goals
Could I
this
do
week,
a bourbon on the rocks? Elijah Craig.
Can I have a glass of vodka?
Bringing it
no, I'm
back.
just kidding. I'm good.
Okay, Aaron.
there were
I'm,
some great
I need
goals
a
this
minute.
week in American soccer.
Yes. And
The
and
David
Mexican
Villa one?
soccer.
That's
No.
David Villa.
Yeah.
The USL one was better than that.
So
It was better. I saw it
yeah,
earlier.
Friday night,
Oh, yeah.
David Villa
Holy-
53.5 yards out
That
because
was
off the
nuts.
nose.
That's dumb.
It was really dumb. What up, Troy?
And then
That was so dumb.
And then Saturday, USL had one directly from the
Yeah.
center line and more covered than Villa was. The keeper actually made a better effort.
It
on
was
that
like
one,
that time that Brian Schmetzer was coaching a E ECSFC match, and he was like, "You're gonna be fine, keeper. Just come out off the line." And then the dude took the ball and just put it right over his head.
Yeah, dude.
But I have to say, like, for a good keeper in Philadelphia, that just looks really,
Dude,
really bad.
It is embarrassing.
And
That
the-
is
Your keeper of the year for
embarrassing.
2016.
Yeah.
I voted
And
for him.
the thing for me on the BWP goal was that's Bill Hamid. Like, just got chewed up. Like, look where he is, and look at the ball. Like, literally no one is near him. He's 5 yards past everyone, and he literally just jogs after the ball and then just taps it through.
All right.
He's scary.
Comments line tells us that it's Pete Wentz who is the
It's Pete Wentz,
producer owner.
Fallout Boy.
Fallout
Oh, no
Boy
shit.
produces Diplo.
Yeah.
On
Remember
other
me.
news,
They
other
got
news,
money.
still soccer related news.
Okay, go on.
Liga MX. So the biggest
What's
topic
that?
of the week.
MX?
I know. Liga MX.
That's MX.
MX.
Close enough.
Biggest.
Nice words.
No, that's standard operating
Oh, sorry.
procedure.
My
Every
bad.
season doesn't change.
Cruz Azul is getting
Cruz
relegated.
Azul is been on the verge of getting delegated.
Dude, you know what's not going to happen?
Cruz Azul is getting
That,
delegated.
because it's Liga MX.
Yeah.
What's going to happen is, oh my God, that happened on that show that you set me off on, right?
They're one of the Gigantes, though. Gigantes don't go
so
down.
No.
Club de Cuervos,
Yes.
they literally
Watch
have this
that
deal in the
show,
show, which
Watch
is what
that
happened
show.
to Querétaro the other year, where they got relegated and they purchased
Another team.
Jaguares,
Moved
right?
their
and then
location.
moved them, and then just like
Rebranded them.
took all the history, and then they were like, "Look, we're Querétaro," and you're like, "No, you're not." Like, it would be like the Browns moved, and then the same season.
No. We've got this really easy.
They moved,
It would
like,
be like the
Alabama
Oklahoma City
up.
Thunder.
Oh my God, it
Meaning
is
all
like
the
that.
history of the
That,
Seattle
that would have been an
Supersonics.
improvement.
Too
Yeah.
soon.
Speaking of that, did you see the shade by SportsCenter, which every
Oh, that was
wannabe sports
amazing.
blogger
That was
stole to make
amazing.
their own? And they were like, and they made it like
That
this
was so
super
good.
innocuous thing. It was
So
just this
good.
visual
I was
with,
so happy
with
to
the
see that.
Knicks and the Sonics, and it's like
Win since
Yeah,
2002.
it's like since 2002,
Yeah,
the Sonics have more playoff wins than the New York Knicks.
And then the
and then at the bottom, it's
asterisks.
like they haven't played since 2009, and you're like, oh shit. That's super messed up. And then I saw like 50 sports bloggers like write it themselves,
Yeah.
like they just came up
Yo,
with that
was
stat.
that the breaking point? Because today, Carmelo and Lala called it quits.
Oh,
Carmelo free agent or
Carmelo.
I think
declared?
I think it's because KG talked about her tasting like Honey Nut Cheerios a couple years ago.
Did I
You didn't hear
miss
that? On the court, he said that to him. Like there was a point where on the court, Melo just freaked out, and somebody was on the sideline and they heard him, and they said KG said she tastes like Honey Nut Cheerios. I think that's what it was. Yeah, I'm gonna look it up.
Wow. Wow.
That escalated way quickly.
Can I use that in pub league?
Oh no! Lala says he didn't say Cheerios,
Ooh, yes. Tim
but
Howard.
like no, like
Tim
it's
Howard,
a thing.
Tim Howard.
She tastes like Honey Nut Cheerios,
Wow.
which I have to tell you,
we got to talk Tim
that's
Howard.
some
I love
fantastic
that.
smack.
I love Tim Howard for that, by the way.
I-
Even though I usually don't
That
like
he
Tim
fucked your
Howard.
mom.
No. That he fucked what's his name's mom and basically was like, no. Oh no, you really tapped him
That
in
was
the
actually
nose.
super good.
That was so good. Like
The
No, no,
verbal
no, no, you-
response was good, but let's be honest. The reason why it's 3 games is not because he basically dropped the F-bomb on a fan.
It's because it's on television.
But it's also not that. It's because there was supposedly a post-game altercation between the two of them.
oh really? Ooh, I
And
would love to be in there.
Howard and the players' union admit there was a post-game confrontation, and that's on Sporting KC. And that fan better get the same ban.
Well, and
you know
here's-
what fan's about to get banned? And that ban's going to be for life.
That one,
yeah.
yeah. I have to
He
say,
had a beer, fully intoxicated, and was quote, less than 2 feet from Tim Howard after the game.
I have to say,
So Howard and the union are like, we'll serve his suspension.
there's
but-
some bad security in MLS.
That's really bad.
Now having traveled to
That's
enough
okay,
places.
I'll take it neat.
Well, I just brought
Thank
it
you.
neat because I thought it'd be easier to get ice.
It's
I
easier
like-
to add
Wow.
ice than
I
subtract
like
it.
the way
yes.
you think, Katie.
You want ice?
No, I'm good. Thank you. Appreciate it.
So that Howard thing is a really interesting situation because, like, he's not fighting it at all.
So step back.
I just
Tim
love-
Howard got 3
yes.
games.
3-game suspension for verbal abuse of a fan and a confrontation is the official words.
Yeah.
It was weird to me that they kept showing the footage in places. I was like,
But the
he
cool part-
clearly says that. I
know,
can read his lips.
I don't even know what happened with the fan. I don't really care. What I really care about is the Dwyer confrontation.
Oh.
When he went back to him and tapped him on his nose, like,
Owen
shut
was
the,
like,
Like this. Boop.
like that. And Dwyer was just like,
them.
I turn around and shut the hell up. He was all
Dwyer
talk.
I remember that game.
But
Dwyer
his,
had a-
it's hard for him to move his head because he's got so much gel
Yeah.
that it's heavy. And it's like,
If Tim Howard booped you on the nose, you'd shut the fuck
I know
up.
Dom
Yeah.
Dwyer isn't very popular around here, but did you see what he and his fam did this weekend?
we're awesome.
Sydney LaRue had her first game back
That
in
goal
like
was ridiculous. Did you guys see
and
that?
ran
Did
around like a
anybody-
crazy person.
Did anybody see that goal?
Yes.
You did? You did? Mark?
Yup.
So,
Oh, man, it was
first
so good.
game in
I
about
don't have TV
650
anymore.
days.
So good.
She scores. Dom Dwyer, husband,
but not just-
scores on the same day.
But just not that she scores. It's how she scored one touch, bounce.
I don't
in
care how
midair.
you score. You take
Boom!
650
I mean, she's a
days
boss.
off.
Yeah.
You
That's
take
a lot.
It was
basically
a
2 years off
beautiful
of
goal, man.
your profession and come back and you're that good.
Like I would pay
Oh.
to have that kind of a goal in public if I ever go back.
I
to
remember
public.
when she told the sound
When
the
you go
rain
back to
something
public.
along the lines of I'd like to be closer to my husband, and they were like, so you don't want to be on the team, you're gone. Sent her to like Western New York or something for a year. It was kind of funny.
Tom, can Hugo cover for me in June?
Yes, sure.
Pub league?
No.
Speaking of women's soccer, did you see who Orlando has on their team now?
According to Orlando, the greatest women's soccer player of all time.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because I thought Mia Hamm retired about 10 years ago.
That was some Nomar level shade that you just threw.
Dude, good pull on Patriots Day.
Oh,
Down can we go on this?
We can go real far. I will say, like, as much as I don't like Dom Dwyer, the
I don't
like
at all.
Dom LaRue jokes, they're actually dumb. I'm like,
Yeah.
they're both really good soccer players.
Yeah.
You're not like in fact, that's a compliment. You're like, oh,
Oh, the people who were like, you took her.
you took her name. And you're like, or she's super good. So who
she's a
cares?
bigger celebrity than you are. Pretty
Like,
much. dude.
seriously.
In their case, they're probably relatively the same in their domestic leagues.
Do
Sid
you think
LaRue.
they had a consultant
No,
discuss
no, no.
this?
Let's talk
I
about
think they
Sid
did.
LaRue. Sid LaRue is like a fringe U.S. national team player, and Dom Dwyer is about to be a fringe U.S. national team player now that he's a citizen. Now,
And they're going to have probably a starting forward.
yeah, their child's probably going to choose England because it'll be easier to be an English national team player in 15 years than it will be to U.S. I think
Brexit.
shot at England. Now,
Brexit out.
the more clear delineation of the women's soccer player being more well known is Carrasco Morgan.
For real, though.
Yeah.
By the way, Carrasco.
She went and challenged herself to go to Olympic Lyon, where she had 4 goals
Yeah.
in a 10-0 blowout.
Yeah.
So, on that
I would
note,
take
good
her-
challenge.
I would take her last. No
so
question.
I had turned on the game. Was that this week or last week? I can't even remember this at this point.
Sorry,
but
yeah.
one of the Italian players that they have, Orlando has, they subbed him out for an injury at like 17
On
and
point.
brought on Carrasco. And the announcers were like, "Man, that's gonna mess up the whole game." And then Carrasco scores later in the game. Like that worked out for y'all.
If you want a guy who understands the power of fans, he was
Yeah.
interviewed on national TV after like their stadium opener. It's like, what gives you guys like home field advantage? And he goes, that right there, and points to their
that
mini wall,
that purple thing.
their little mini wall,
Yeah.
the Dortmund inspired wall.
Speaking of Dortmund, what do you think about the T-shirt section tifo-ish.
Oh,
The tifo, like the.
So like you can
I
permanently
didn't think-
leave BVB in the section by making people keep those T-shirts on in their space throughout a game.
That's different.
There are-
Oh.
Better.
Yeah.
I love the T-shirt tifo thing, and I think that you think that it can be better than just
We
three
could do
letters.
that at
Totally. But I have to say, so that is supporter organized.
Next
They
level.
did that.
Next
Yeah, everything
level.
they do.
And that's
Next level.
so for everybody's perspective, it's 21,000 seats.
The wall, yeah.
Just in the wall.
We could do that at Starfire.
That's like most MLS stadiums,
Yeah, there's like 6 MLS stadiums
Total.
bigger than that.
right? So there's that. And then you look at Barca, who yesterday or this morning, I can't
They do a lot
keep
of
track of it.
stadium-wide
So they're
they're
doing
struggling.
They're
They
no,
are
but
struggling.
Barca is doing the full stadium mosaic, as they call it. So they're putting the stuff in the seats to spell things. The team does that,
But
and people
in their
go,
case, the team and the supporters may not be different since they're in that weird own
yeah, it's the team. The team's funding it.
situation. Yes, but the team is owned and operated by the fans.
So I have a question.
I think it's a different thing,
Yeah.
but I get what you're saying.
Could
Mark.
you do that with 50 people at Starfire to spell out SFC?
I mean, probably.
The seats already do that, Mark.
No, that was my point. It was a joke.
Do you want to have the argument on whether it should be SSFC or SFC?
We could probably go
That's
down
the
that
one.
rabbit. Like we already went the Boston rabbit hole. Should we go down? I thought you were going to bring up Dortmund with the way UEFA fucked them.
With,
Wow, I
with
just- sorry, I
bombs,
just dropped
with
an
bombs
F-bomb.
and buses.
Sorry about that.
So this is good because we're at about 8:30. We've got some time. Let's talk about that because
Let's
I would
do it.
say,
But I have one more
as
thing
far
to
as
talk
all-
about that's going to be bigger. But that's okay.
then bombing
gonna
a
be-
Dortmund bus.
And forcing them to play the next day, despite
Bigger.
the fact that one of their players
Bigger.
was in
But
surgery.
Then you're
save
gonna
it.
go now.
I'll save it.
You're up.
All right. The biggest international match of the year was announced not too long ago at CenturyLink.
You mean Mexico?
Venezuela?
Mexico.
Venezuela
And
versus the
3
United States at
is
Rio
coming
Tinto?
back to Seattle, baby.
We're going.
Let's go.
We're going.
7 tickets within the first 5 minutes. I bought them for my mom, my dad, my niece,
Tom and I?
everybody. Well,
Did you buy
I
us
bought
tickets?
7. No, I bought my niece, my mom, my dad, and my brother.
What the fuck, Hugo?
Yo.
I
you
thought
guys
we
can
were
get-
fam.
No, we are. But this is
His
like
legit fam.
this is my L3 fam.
Actual
you guys
fam.
Would root for U.S.
Fam,
men's national
actually.
team if it's Mexico versus
I
US
would
men's
not-
national team.
Root for a team that's not in the stadium
No.
during that game.
Fact.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm hyped. Like, let's go. They're back. They're coming here. Tickets are like,
You should
Bonkers.
put your microphone
long,
against
like
your
they
face.
were going fast, dude. Like from the first, when they
Take
first
after
went
Dave.
out.
There you go.
Oh my god, dude! When they first got announced to like when I finally got them like an hour later to confirm my brother was on board, my sister-in-law was on board, my mom was on board. This is gonna be her first L3 match, by the way, ever,
Damn.
ever.
Dude, I'm stoked.
I'm super stoked.
When is it?
July 1st, Saturday, July
Oh.
1st.
I'll be back.
Have we heard any more of the rumors of who?
So that's
The rumor.
What
Jake
day?
Jake is
Saturday?
off
Saturday,
mic,
July
so
1st.
we need to repeat
Sunday
what his question is because
Sunday
more
is
people
a
are listening where
certain-
they can't hear.
Sunday is a certain fundraiser by a certain player
Oh, yeah.
named Steve Zakuani.
Who
And then
might certainly be here.
Monday-
Tuesday,
Oh,
is
Tuesday is-
Sounders at
At
Colorado.
Colorado.
And the next Saturday is Eintracht Frankfurt at
Oh,
Sounders.
yeah. Friendly.
So, like, that's a nuts 7 days, and
Yeah.
you can actually do all of it and take minimal vacation days.
Yep. Monday, Tuesday. That's it.
And I think the Colorado tickets are probably
Do
the most
it.
expensive.
yep.
Do it.
The Mexico tickets are only $30.
It's 35
$35
to go to Colorado
Oh wow.
Well,
because it's the fireworks night.
By the way,
they're doing a fireworks night finally.
And now 2 years in a row they've brought in the previous year's MLS Cup champs.
Mr.
So it's clearly intentional.
Mr. Gulati, the Mexico game is $30.
Yeah. That's unreal.
No comment.
And
Well,
not just that, there is a good chance.
limited sections in the upper 300s are $30.
Correct.
Okay.
But
I can't
There
remember
were
30
$30 tickets for the women's Brazil friendly.
I will give you guys this. The tickets I bought
Yeah.
were mid-level.
Those are two of the top 6
midsection
women's
119.
teams. You're not stuck with Mexico
But like
Mid-
on a
versus
victory
Gambia.
tour.
Midsection Yo, midsection.
Yeah, but it's good soccer teams.
Listen to
Mexico
Hugo.
is the greatest
Okay.
team in CONCACAF. They're the reigning Gold Cup champions. The greatest team in CONCACAF. The greatest team.
We all-
Eileen off camera just
That's like saying
snarfed.
the best writer in Renton.
It is. It is.
Oh,
You're absolutely
shit.
right.
Are there no other writers that live in?
You are
are-
so far
you
ahead of
are.
the curve. It's amazing.
Are there?
I'm
no,
not even claiming that I'm the one. I'm
You
just
don't
saying
even
that
live
it's
in Renton. You live in Fairwood.
But
No, I don't.
Well, it might as well be.
No, I
yo, I'm just
city
telling you
limits
guys,
exist, bro.
$55 plus.
I don't even
fees.
live on the hill.
You could get
You live
lower
bottom of the
level,
hill.
section
There
119,
was a lot more beer in there than I thought.
So
and they're gonna bring legit players.
this
Not all of them
advertisement for
legit.
the Mexican national team and its B squad that's coming by during the Gold Cup year
B
because
plus.
no,
B plus.
no, it's during the Confederations Cup
It's after. It's after. It is after.
and World Cup qualifying.
Dude.
C team?
I don't know. It's,
We've seen that
It's
squad.
a B plus. It's a B plus squad.
No.
It's a B plus. We're gonna have
Here-
at least
here-
one or two starters from the main team.
Here it is. Here it is. if there are more than 2 starters,
So what
from
you're
the
saying is-
Confederations Cup that start that game, you will take me taco.
So none of the Club
Shopping?
America players are coming? Because that's
No.
what, 8 of the 11 players
Chivas, it's the other way
on
around.
El Tree?
Chivas team, but no.
We will bet on this. We'll find
we
a
will
bet.
bet on this. We will bet on this.
It'll-
it's
So
on.
we're gonna bet
We're gonna bet
something.
Something. It's
Something
on.
about the quality of the roster.
Yes.
So you guys have just agreed to bet in the future.
Yes. We-
There'll be complex negotiations,
Yes.
and it'll take about 15 minutes.
I
to
need
figure.
more
We-
beer
we
if
have
we're gonna
till
have
July.
this conversation. So
We have till July
So
1st.
anyway, okay. So you just jumped in with that. Let's
Yes.
talk about Dortmund because I think
I'm
that's
just
important.
I don't mean to
Tom,
overshadow
Can we talk about
Dortmund.
We're
Dortmund
going.
getting
Thanks.
We're going.
That's how we're gonna pay for that XX concert on Monday.
Right? Hooch, this is
Shout out
yours.
to Hooch. Thanks for fronting us
to
$55.
Oh, I need another 10.
The
Shit.
bus for BVB Dortmund was bombed on their way to the stadium last week for a Champions League game.
By who?
Well, that's in dispute.
Not ISIS.
Well, that's in dispute.
No, so Jordan Police have said it's not.
Well, no, that's in dispute. The fact Jake's off mic again, and he says that it's the
By the way,
police say
nice
that it's
haircut,
not
Jake.
ISIS.
Yeah,
the
Jake's looking
current
sharp.
I missed the long
leading
locks, but that is
the
it's
current leading
soft.
theory is that it was a false flag operation by a far right wing group that wanted people to believe
Like
that
an
it was
alt-right?
Islamists.
Far right, alt right type?
We will.
No,
I would
actually
refrain
far
from
right.
saying that there is an American analog to this because it's
Agreed.
Germany, and their right wing has specific, concrete connections to the Nazis because it's Germany, and they're legally forbidden from existing because it's Germany.
So, but it's
But
the deal
that's
is it
the
was
current operating theory.
It
They
was
got
that
bombed.
the
They were specifically
explosives
target.
were specifically what ISIS doesn't use,
Yeah, so that's part of why the theory exists.
which again doesn't mean anything.
So less than 24 hours passes, and they're forced to play in their Champions League game. They had tried to make calls to UEFA, and UEFA's like, nah, they send them a text message.
I was shocked.
A text
No, no, no.
message?
Like everyone
No.
was like, "Oh man, they're just gonna push this game off a couple weeks or something."
Text
Nope.
message, you play tomorrow.
Next day.
They couldn't negotiate. Their team was
No.
targeted by an act of terrorism.
Like irrelevant if it was like
Dude, that's
faux
so-
Doesn't matter-
terrorism or
doesn't
not.
matter who-
You literally
who
tried
the
to blow off
terrorists
their
were.
bus.
So jacked.
And they were forced to play the next day, and they lost.
Why one
And-
of the players is in surgery?
Yeah.
Whoa there.
No, his surgery was complete by the time that
Was it?
they'd played the game.
But
He was in
broken
surgery
arm.
That's
that night
crazy, man.
for a broken wrist.
Yeah.
That's fucked up. Like,
So, fuck UEFA.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm
As-
dropping it
as
up on
usual.
3 times, but like they're like, we were just enforcing the rules. Guess what? You made the rules. You can
Yeah.
overrule the
You
rules.
have
You
the
can
authority.
literally change the rules for
You
anything.
are the organization that makes the rules. Those
Well,
are,
and I
like,
think when it's like
exception-
dumb shit happens and people are like, "Oh, I can't believe they let that team not do something when a bus broke down or whatever," and they gave them extra 2 weeks. I'm like, they literally were on a bus
And got
that
bombed.
explosives tore into, and you made them play the next day. People are like, "Man, I took the red eye, and it left really late, and then we landed really late, and then I didn't get any sleep." and then we had to play the next day. Oh, this is like you almost got blown up by terrorists.
Seriously.
You play soccer the next
so
day.
UEFA sucks, and that's just in general.
I'm not gonna watch the rest of this tournament on protest. Putting it out
Were you watching anyway, though?
Some of them are doing
Okay,
my lunch
just
break.
checking.
Not all of them,
Um,
but not dedicatedly.
It's
I'll admit.
rather messed
But-
up, and yeah, it would have been difficult to schedule the two
some.
teams because they're both in
Like, only
league
Real
action,
Madrid.
they're both
Only
in
Real
cup
Madrid.
action, and you got to get
It
2
is what
days
it
of
is.
rest. And
However,
it just sucks.
I love Real Madrid.
it just seems silly to me.
I think Jake has something.
Stupid.
Jake,
The police have been all over the place with who it could be. At one point, the Germans thought it might be the Red Bulls, like legitimately supporters for the Red Bulls.
Hold on.
you mean after they
MLS Red
fake
Bull?
Red Bull
throwing
Leipzig
smoke?
is a top 4 team in the Bundesliga right now, and they're from the East German side, and they have a little bit of a weird. East Germans have a little bit of a weird violent
man.
history.
So-
and-
This is starting to turn me off from
No,
German soccer,
no,
which I really like.
No.
So they have now discounted that it's not Red Bull fans. That it's most likely.
You actually
right-wing
can't say
extremists.
Red Bull. It's RB in Germany.
There are branding reasons they're not allowed to be called.
I love
Red Bull.
horsey
They're-
sauce.
They're RB Leipzig.
Oh yeah, I forgot. But
So yeah, they went through a lot of phases as to who their chief suspect is, and normally
Listen.
when it means they have no suspect.
If they can find Tom Brady's damn football jersey in
In,
Mexico a week later,
in a week.
they better find out who bombed the best soccer team in German soccer. I
Not at
wasn't.
all?
Not at all.
Do you know
But-
why
Zero.
it was an FBI thing?
And you know,
Because it wasn't like, oh, it's Brady's jersey was stolen. Let's get the FBI on it. The FBI was already responsible for Super Bowl security.
well, and you know the guy who gave him the hottest tip was from Kent. A 19 or 20-year-old from Kent gave him the tip that found the dude.
What was the newspaper?
Damn
I knew it.
minors.
No.
Korean?
It was a
Curses!
Mexican journalist.
Yeah, yeah,
A
yeah.
Mexican print journalist, if I remember
Some
correctly.
dude, loser, killing me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some organization.
So
got-
let's
but
spin positive for a second. So
Spin positive.
More to say?
no.
Spin positive.
So,
Maybe.
as has been pointed out in the chat, before we ever got to the fact that they were going to play that game the next day, one of the cool things that you saw on Twitter and on social and in news was that people just opened up their houses to literally hosted the AS Monaco fans. And as much as we all want to talk about how like tiny Europe is compared to the US and we all travel 300 miles and you know UK players or England
right,
players
right.
are like we went 70 miles. Oh my god.
this is about what, like
It's
600,
a good
700?
it's a good amount of distance. But that was a cool thing
You're talking
and it
southern
just
France
it just
to
happened.
central Germany.
Yeah.
And it was just,
It just happened.
we got a few thousand fans.
And it's not 20 people. It was 2,000 or whatever the number
It
was.
11 hundreds that were hosted ad hoc
Right.
on no notice.
And it was pretty cool.
11 out of 10, I would do
Respect.
Wow. Except for Portland.
that. No, I would then too.
Yeah, let's be honest. Like if
We
if a
would probably do that
bus
for
guy,
Portland.
like, yeah, that
Although what if they tried to blow up their own bus?
They would probably.
Well,
like-
that's because it had a meth lab in it.
Okay. So,
On that note.
anyway,
positive spin.
so the
So-
positive aspect.
left
the
of it-
positive
so wide
aspect
open.
is it was cool to see supporters support other supporters
Yeah.
that they could give a shit about.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately the next day had
The
to go
game was kind
and
of a-
cheer
an egg.
against one another.
But you know, at the same point, you know, I'm a big fan of like sports as healing and sports as cultural communication. We saw both
Absolutely.
of that. You know, a small advantage in playing the next day is to show those people who would like to use terrorism to terrify
Fuck you.
that hey, you were
what?
so successful, we're still playing.
What was that?
And
fuck
there
you,
is a
I'm just repeating what he said.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it sucks for BVB Dortmund, but
My bad.
in the broader attempts to create an environment where terrorism doesn't succeed, playing the game
It's a strong statement.
is an advantage for that. Playing the game in a soccer aspect sucks. Playing the game as part of a counterterrorism enterprise made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
UEFA shouldn't have made that decision. If it's part of the counterterrorism thing, that's what
Right.
the
You
German
took it out of
authorities
the
should do.
club's decision making.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
symbology of it.
Oh.
I had to drop that. I had to.
Okay.
So it's an interesting circumstance
It
when you
is.
use
Guys, I got a new
sports as inspiration,
Nice.
and a way to heal. So, yeah,
beer. So
Next subject.
So Sounders
Hard
play.
to segue.
Yeah.
Sounders play. It is hard to segue from that, but Sounders play on Sunday, 1 p.m. at the Galaxy.
Are we going to get everything moved and I
Wait,
can still
wait,
go?
wait.
That's a no. Just
What?
say no.
What?
We play Sunday?
Sunday, 1 p.m.
1
in
p.m.
LA. Would you like a flight?
He's checking on S2.
I am.
You,
Okay, good. Thank
Adam
you.
Weigel.
you can have my flight.
Saturday.
It's very
yeah, okay,
important to
good.
remember, guys, that
Yeah.
people in the background, no one else
Saturday, that
hears
was
them.
Adam. Adam confirming Saturday is S2, Sunday is S1.
So Sounders Sunday got the somewhat flailing Galaxy.
Yeah.
Yep. 2-0 victory. I'm calling it right now.
S2 kind of could jumpstart their season with
2-0
the road
victory.
victory
Calling
against
that right now.
Lag 2, and so it might be handy.
2-0 fin de semana aquí en Seattle.
You're familiar with 2-0.
I am. The ending of it, too, this last
Oh.
team. After the 7th Gold Cup. No me duele. No duele. You know
So
why?
Giovanni-
¿Sabes por qué
You know
no
who
duele?
else is familiar with
7 Gold
2-0?
Cups.
Giovanni Dos Santos.
Oh, yeah. You know who else is
His
familiar with
nickname
him?
is Giovanni Dos Cero.
Dos Santos, after that goal that he scored
What about
on Tim
Chicharito
Howard. Oh,
Hernandez?
El Chicharito
See, Mourinho wants him back.
Hernandez.
It's like if we had him on our team right now, we wouldn't be as bad this year. Manchester United, where
Stop
they were like-
talking.
yeah.
Literally stop
Yeah,
talking.
seriously. Even I'm going to say that.
Stop.
I would
no.
never let him go back to them. They just haters.
Yeah. So, yeah, LA.
So Galaxy.
It's a big one.
So Galaxy away is a different thing right
It is a
now
different
than
thing.
Galaxy away has been maybe
Ever.
in the entire MLS
Yeah,
era for
ever.
Sounders.
Ever.
I mean,
I've never had an LA game that's like, meh.
but like aside from obviously winning late last year and then Portland roughing them up earlier this year, the lineup is different. You don't have any LDs or Keens or a number of other people.
Yep.
And as much as there are Giovanni's and other players, this is really the first time in MLS era Sounders that I think you go into the Galaxy maybe
Ex-
a little more confident
Confident,
than
like
you would
expecting
otherwise.
A
I don't-
2-0
I don't-
win. I expect a 2-0 win.
He's going to... Mark's passing around Cougar jokes right now. 'Cause
Couged it.
The only person who can make
Good
fun of
It'd
the
be
Cougars
better if
better
he
than the
just
Cougars
still
are the
available.
Bears.
It'd be better if he was just breaking
Just
it.
an
This is
FYI.
a reminder. People are watching and have no idea what you've interrupted
Also,
the show
Mark,
for.
just FYI, Cruz Azul might be the equivalent of Wazoo in Liga MX.
No, Cruz Azul's
no
won a title.
way, dude.
It can't be
No.
Wazoo because Wazoo
Cruz
hasn't
Azul
won a
has
title.
actually been good.
Wazoo,
Like in the 80s.
Wazoo just wants you to know.
Didn't
good
they win the
seats are still
CCL like
available
3
for
years
men's
ago?
Wazoo is
basketball.
like
No.
we just happen to have a team in D1.
exist. Please come.
You know, I remember going to the NCAA tournament.
So
When
you
you
were
were like
talking
10?
about
So anyway, so
the
Galaxy.
Galaxy.
So Galaxy Sunday.
Alessandrini?
Yeah.
He's extraordinary.
But he's one of, and you watch a Galaxy match, the way they talk about him is like we've talked about Ladero,
Yeah.
and you hear talked about Villa and Pirlo, and not to say that they're all on the same level, but when you compare them against the middle of MLS, they're like dirty
Yeah.
on the ball.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
what they're doing, you're like, God forbid those people have a free kick 5 yards outside of the area. Like
Right.
you want no part of
No,
that.
no way.
But that's a great example. But I don't really feel like it's congealed or
At all.
become anything special.
At
It's
all.
just an LA team that has some pretty good players
With a
It's
really
got-
bad coach.
and some
he's-
young people.
Dude, it's so good to see them struggle. Oh, it feels so nice. Sorry.
But
Not
at the same
sorry.
point, there's
Not
6 games
sorry
into the
at
season.
Sorry at
all.
all.
So it's struggling
Can't count anything.
unless you're
Yeah, yeah,
Philadelphia or Minnesota
And then
or
fuck those
Montreal.
people.
Those teams look dire.
Yeah.
I
LA
was
doesn't
really
look
happy.
dire.
I was really happy to see that Minnesota brought
Scored
in
one or two?
defensive players, brought in a Cronin and brought in Mark
Mark
Birch.
Merch.
and still don't look good defensively.
They look better.
But yeah.
They shaved a goal a game off. Now they're
So now they're only going to let up 61
Hey,
goals.
so-
Like,
You know what died down? Rumors. Are we going to sign anybody before May, you think?
give it a minute.
Well, we got less than a month.
I'm working on it, man.
All right. I'm
Dave's
indirectly-
all over it.
Indirectly, I was over here looking at you, but I'm glad that Dave picked up on this.
I had a thing from like a week ago with Henderson about like 5% or so of signings work out. I'm working, trying to figure it out.
I kind of miss, like, every other week he's in some random
Yeah.
city posting
Kurt
photos.
Schmidt is about to be on the road again. And then in a couple more weeks, Chris will be on the road again.
So, AC
This is
Milan finally
Jake.
sold.
Jake is off screen,
Jake off
reminding us that
screen.
AC Milan finally sold. That
And
means nothing
nothing.
for Honda, though.
Yeah.
That's what I figured.
But it does
Nothing
mean
for
that
Honda.
Well,
Cesc
the Honda,
Fabregas may go to Milan.
the Honda thing was put to rest by Italian media about a week and a half ago.
Yeah, it's done.
Where they had declared that Seattle and Honda won't happen, but he still wants to come to MLS. So that's 75,000.
But, like, does
allocated
Sounders
money.
need another, like,
Central
service
player? 'Cause
No.
we need to go from Harry Ship to even narrower.
No, I
in
want
the attacking
I
mid.
want the beat. Someone like an Oba that can one at the top.
I don't want to
and
bench
create.
Jordan Morris.
I could put him on the wing. Put him on the side.
Well, I mean, we can look at last year where
Dude,
like
Morris
9 of his 12 goals came
Slightly
from up top.
outside left.
Better up top player. That's where he plays for the national team, and there's a reason for that.
I will say he is. It's still deceptive when he gets a ball and you're like, oh, there's 2 defenders in front of him, and he outruns both of them and swings a ball in. Like you just don't see it coming. Still, like it's happened 50 times now, and we're still
I
like,
want the,
meh.
I mean, to roll back to the 2011 conversation. I want the DP version of what Steve Zakuani was in 2011.
And here's the thing: we don't know who this is.
We don't. I mean,
Man,
my
you
dream,
followed that up perfectly
which
to my hoop.
died
You don't?
because
Yeah, I
he
know, I
signed
know,
an
I know,
extension
I know.
with his
I
Croatian
want
club.
somebody- I want
My
somebody-
dream was Hilal Sodani,
Yes.
the
Yeah, yeah, you
Algerian,
mentioned
the
him.
third best player for Algeria. The first 2 players for Algeria both play for Leicester City.
Right.
Third best Dynamo.
Speaking of Leicester
Yeah.
City, I
Um,
think they are 8 years to the day of winning the 3rd division championship.
They are not going to get relegated.
No, but now they're in the semifinals of champions.
Quarterfinals. They didn't advance. yet.
Sorry, quarterfinals.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Sadani
8
was the
years.
one that I wanted the most for
Obvious reasons.
lots of reasons on the field, lots of reasons
the
personal,
field,
and
yeah.
some off the field reasons. He was what I wanted the most. Derlis Gonzalez is still rumored. That one has not died. That's the only.
But nothing's happened.
But there's nothing new. And remember, his original thing was within a week we'll know my future. And
So-
There is no news.
it's been 2.5 weeks.
Let's spend 5 minutes spitting on, like, non-game quick predictions. You sort of threw one out.
2-0.
but That's your prediction.
It is. I'm
Mark?
sticking by it. And it's a hard one. You know, LA on the road, 2-0 after the wear off.
3-1
Who?
Sounders.
Wow. Wow.
We finally find the goal.
I thought I was. Wow.
Dave?
Thank God, let's go. That one.
And
Ooh.
Tom and I are going to be so efficient on Saturday afternoon that I'm going to be able to call Alaska in the morning and change my flight to later than 5 a.m., go to the game, and come home earlier than 10.
Dude, you have, like, 2
Did you know
moving
you're
loads.
helping him move?
I thought I was moving a bed, but
Dude, so
apparently
you're
I'm
going
Now
to
it's
the
the
game
whole unit?
after?
Yeah.
Well,
You're going to the
well.
game after Pub League? Are you going to
The
LA?
game's Sunday.
Sunday.
He's
So you're
doing
leaving
in and out.
Wow.
So, as a
Also-
reminder, if you want local soccer, go to S2 on Saturday.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know,
Yes.
S2 that just beat
Come
LA.
hang out. Come
Dave
hang out.
prediction Sunday.
I'm gonna predict goals, but not the final score.
Okay. Well, this.
Jordan Morris from Nico Ladero. Henry Wingo from Mike
Wing goal.
Hugo literally just broke the microphone
Seriously.
Dempsey. Go
and my
Dogs.
eardrum.
LFG.
Go Dogs.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about that
Okay.
part, but go Wingo.
That's actually a really fun
Tomás,
4 players.
¿tú qué
to
piensas?
announce.
¿Tú qué piensas?
2-0.
Giovanni Dos Acero.
No, I'm going to say Nico.
Johnny Dos Acero.
I'm going to say Nico Ship.
You know, I'm gonna go Nico Honey Badger. He's due.
Oh,
He's due.
I like how they
Dude.
talk about that on the broadcast now. They were like, we weren't sure if he was going to get his goal this time. Whenever he just like swings. I have to say, I think keepers have that in their head that they know he's going to get a goal.
Sing it from the
You know?
like, not on me. Not on me.
All right, so we had a couple predictions around the horn here. Anything else random from the group? I only have one thing.
Throw it out. Throw it out.
Dan Kennedy retired.
Oh.
I'm a big Dan Kennedy fan.
You know what sucks for Dan Kennedy?
He played on Chivas for all that time?
No.
No.
What sucks for Dan Kennedy is the reason he retired is because he was the third keeper on the LA Galaxy behind two garbage goalkeepers in Brian Rowe and Diop.
I really like Dan Kennedy. Having gone to a number of Chivas games home and away, and having seen him in Dallas on a team where you have a kid who might be in the top 3 for U.S. keepers at some point in Jesse Gonzalez, and then back in Los Angeles with the Galaxy. I don't know. I just always felt like he was underrated isn't the right word. It's hard to use, I think, in MLS. But a guy who was like a solid keeper who I wouldn't have a problem having on my team. Dave's like,
He just lost his job to Brian Rowe and Diop.
Yeah,
Clemente Diop.
but we've already discussed the fact that the LA Galaxy coach is not good. So
he's the guy that Peter Vermees fired to hire Peter Vermees.
Let's factor that in. Like,
Shout out to our version of Buffon on the Sounders with his 20,000 minute.
huh?
Yeah. Buffon, you know, long.
Yes, you said shout out to our version of Buffon on the
Do you know
Sounders.
what's
That's
not
what
the
got
same
me
thing?
confused.
Oh, sorry. I'm talking about like someone that plays like non
lot of minutes?
A lot of minutes. Sorry, not the
Who would that
position.
be?
Who is our version of Buffon?
Honey Badger, 20,000 minutes.
Yeah, didn't Buffon play like 48 years?
Pretty much.
Okay.
And he played
1,000
matches.
games.
Sorry, it was a bad. It was a bad. Okay, Dave, I'm not like you, man. I don't know how to.
Dos
like,
Acero.
whatever. 7 Gold Cups.
1,000
7 Gold Cups.
times 90 is what?
A shit ton of minutes.
That's still good.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. But those are all across competitions.
All right, no, but seriously, shout out to Honey Badger.
Yeah, 20,000 minutes.
Still kicking.
Yeah. Representing Cuba.
Do we
David?
have time that I can tell my favorite Honey Badger story?
Tell
I
the
think
story.
I've told
Oh,
it before,
yeah.
but
Tell it.
if this is the first time you're listening, it's still hilarious. So I request to interview
Tell it loud
Osvaldo
enough
Alonso.
that the group in the room can hear.
Yeah. So I request to interview Osvaldo Alonso after a practice session. No, after a game at Starfire, U.S. Open Cup match against Landon Donovan. And I ask Osvaldo Alonso,
Fuck that guy,
first
by the way.
time in English,
Yes.
me and him one-on-one, and I say, do you have to try harder when a player like Landon is across from you? And he's like, I don't understand.
This is actually a really good story, by the way.
And I'm like, well, because you've faced off against a lot of great number 10s, and your job is to shut them down. So, like, when Landon Donovan or Dwayne De Rosario or Guillermo Barros Skeletto get the ball, do you need to try harder? What is it that you need to do? I don't understand.
This is so good.
Fredy Montero's walking by,
LOL.
and he's like, can I help? And I'm like, well, Freddie's English isn't great, but yeah, I clearly need help because Ozzy doesn't understand what I'm asking here.
Meanwhile.
And so I ask again the same exact question. Freddie translates it. Ozzy asks some questions. Freddie translates it. And then Freddie goes to me, no, he doesn't understand the concept of trying harder.
And the best is, it's not that he didn't understand, like,
Wow.
the
He
English to
understood
Spanish
all of my
translation.
English earlier.
He's like, I operate at this level.
The whole concept of
There
trying
isn't
harder
more.
didn't exist.
Wow. Funny story.
It's
Have
my
you guys
favorite
heard of
Alonso quote.
Infinity? Because that's where I
Yeah.
am all the time.
Times 1,000.
So that's when I fell in love with
Interesting
Ozzy
tidbit.
Alonso.
Meanwhile, that guy.
I financed his first car here.
Oh,
Yeah. 2000.
Do you know the only
No,
reason
it's with
Landon
my old
Donovan's
work.
not at the Zakawani event this year?
Because I booed and got in trouble, and
No.
they didn't want him to come again.
Because I literally could not fit his forehead
because
in
his
my
wife
phone.
is expecting essentially that week.
Oh, damn.
Wow.
I mean, I don't want to
Otherwise,
say
he would've
anything
been
nice
here.
about Landon Donovan, but good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God damn it, Dave Clark.
Landon Donovan's a really good guy and a really good soccer player.
I know, but no.
And I still
Uh,
No, forget him. I don't like him at all.
You're like the only person from Mexico that hates Landon Donovan.
And by
Sitting here.
Like,
Sitting
what's
here.
your opinion on Sanzuzi?
He's the greatest U.S. men's soccer player in the history of American soccer.
it is so...
Dude, I love
greatest.
that you didn't
The
even
greatest.
like break
He gets
anything. You
Saints.
just went with it.
He is a saint, and he's the greatest. He's amazing.
The fact
That's
that they
my odds.
presented him with that was so classic.
no question.
So
No
that's a good
question.
story because it's very on brand. Because you're like, he's just bluffing. No, he's dead serious.
Like, I thought it was a English-Spanish
nope.
No.
No, it was
He's like,
No, he
no,
was
I,
like, really,
I
like,
literally
really
operate
confused,
at
like-
all this or zero.
No. What is? Yeah.
And that's why it's the best. When actually after he kicks someone in the shin, clearly he just goes, "What do you mean?"
or he does the one where...
And then the ref just goes-
snap. Are you
And he
serious?
Who got the
Are
boot?
you serious right
Mark.
now? Mark. What is this, man?
Guys, the Coug ordered a boot.
Does boot?
For the table.
What is
Really?
that?
Really?
Even?
Bit
beer is
burger.
it?
Oh, thank God.
Wow.
He's like, it's a,
That's as big as
It's a
Tom's
boot-
head.
a boot of coconut
tonight's
porter.
waitress just came by and laughed at us for having the boot, which I can't
Mark.
blame her.
Mark's going first.
This is really heavy. Yeah, just bring it over all
Wait,
the
wait, wait, wait,
electronics.
wait, wait,
That'll
wait,
go
wait,
well.
let me get a selfie. Ah.
You
can
get a selfie drinking it.
So they have 2 sizes of boots.
Do you know how
here.
to
this
drink
is
that?
the smaller size boot from the Berliner. Yeah, the other one is...
Coug.
Will you guys drink out of it
That's
together?
considered a 2?
Drink out of it together.
So are we
They
going to
also
drink
have a
this on the
5.
air, or are we going to
Yeah.
finish the show
What's happening?
and then
We'll all take a swig. Your next dip.
Coog? You call that a
You're drinking that backwards, dude.
It doesn't matter down at
I
this
know.
point.
Dave looks like he's a
It's only a half liter each.
So they have a 2 and a 5 liter boot here at the Berliner Pub down on
fuck
3rd and
off.
Main in Renton. I'm plugging the Berliner for the 9 people live watching.
Happy first day.
So
of
as
work,
Tom was trying to get us on the...
I have to be in Tacoma at like
Really bad
8
idea.
tomorrow.
Hugo, I'll take a picture.
Oh, I got this. Selfie ninja. Selfie ninja.
Have you seen Hugo on a Seahawks game day? Because he's used to taking pictures of him drinking.
This is amateur hour for Hugo.
So, Tom, you were trying to get us back on subject when the boot showed up. The subject being Sounders soccer, soccer in general.
We have a long ways to go.
No, we were just talking about soccer in general. I think we had a good Eddie. Jesus Christ!
Wow.
We had a good Ozzy story. I
have an
I
Eddie
have an
story.
Eddie joke actually, which is where that came from. We have a good Ozzy story. I don't know if there's anything better than that Ozzy Alonso story.
That's great, dude.
It's one of my favorite stories.
That was good. That was really good. I've heard
Did
it.
you
It's
hear
good.
the Easter joke this weekend about Eddie Vedder in the grocery store and that he couldn't find a better ham?
Can't find
a better
Yeah.
You guys,
So you did hear that
I am
joke.
definitely not in the loop on that one.
Can't find a better ham.
Okay, there's a song by Pearl
Yeah,
Jam
dude,
called
I
Better
would be
Man.
singing El Rey. I would be singing.
How long have you lived in
I went
Seattle?
to an amazing Selena fundraiser this weekend. Selena karaoke fundraiser. It was
By the
so
way,
good.
for future reference, and I know we're long, the idea that we had all come up with when we prepped in the off season was at the end of the show we would take 15 minutes or so and talk about like 3 things. And each of us just spouted on whatever it was, whether it was about like
Selena.
this chip in this mug that I have no idea how it got there,
Hey, but it doesn't say bird anymore.
or
That was better.
how many goals El Tri would lose by in all of its international matches this season. Oh, hey.
No. No.
I'm never getting a ride from Burien ever
No.
again.
No. I would talk about Selena because it was her birthday this weekend.
Where was your fundraiser?
Fundraiser was at Los Guillenes in
Adam.
Buren, which was a great, small family-owned Mexican restaurant. They make their own tortillas, good food. It was intimate. It was cool. I think there was some. Actually, I donated some Sounder tickets, Sounder swag towards that. That particular fundraiser was for a collective of immigration attorneys, and man, you are doing a really good job about drinking while I'm talking.
Stop fucking talking, dude.
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm gonna keep talking.
Keep talking while you take your selfie. You're a master at
This
this.
is really good.
You were talking about
I am
raising
talking
money
about
for
that.
immigration attorneys,
Yes,
right?
correct. It was an amazing fundraiser, and actually, I think it's going to become a really big.
Okay, the
really
boot,
big.
the boot is
fundraiser.
in your hands now, so your
I don't know
things.
why this is happening. Why is this happening? What is this?
It's Mark's fault.
Fire. Fire.
Einstein.
By the way, he scored again. Dude's going to have like 12 goals. Maybe 15.
If we keep having defensive mishaps, that makes me not that excited for Chicago away.
You could bring that inside and give it to Adam Christian Smith's brother. He loves drinking boots.
Does he have a name?
Yeah, just use it.
Do
Adam
you
Christian
know?
Smith's brother.
I do,
That's
but now
the
it's
new,
funny, so I'm
karaoke
just going to
DJ
pretend.
Here at the Berliner Pub, 3rd and Main, Renton, ahead of the curve.
Ahead of the curve.
Non-Daryl.
So I texted Tom on Sunday. We were coming back from Tacoma.
Is this your thing?
I said, we're by South Center.
It's not,
Not
ahead of the curve. Do you know what day that was?
Sunday.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
You are.
Anyway, so let's end on a high note because somehow we've kept 12 people here for
8.
like 25 minutes.
8.
Yeah,
Eileen wants some.
We got it.
Eileen wants some.
Eileen is going to hit the boot pretty hard.
Hit the boot. Hit the boot.
So a couple things. Did we get rid of all the LA tickets? There are 4 LA tickets
That's it?
away
Maybe
Wow.
5.
for Sunday.
Do we have
and
any
then
S2 tickets available?
you're good.
I know.
We got you.
No.
What time?
So
There are always S2 tickets available.
So the 29th. So
Saturday,
the
Saturday.
29th
Saturday. Never mind.
is TFC. No, I'm sorry. 29th is
New England.
New England, and the 6th or the 5th, 5, 6
5th.
is
Because I go to Vegas on the 6th. Yes.
TFC. So
rematch.
So we've
The
got
rematch.
what 30
You know what they have?
tickets
Wow.
each match.
Not a MLS Championship
Yeah.
Cup.
Did you know they have,
So we've
they have
got-
a special window where a trophy's supposed to go?
They
And
built
we're
that window, by the
still-
way, the day they built their
So
stadium.
we've
There's
got
still not a
tickets.
trophy.
So we've got home tickets available for both those matches for New England
When he says we, he means
in general
ECS.
admission.
We are ECS.com.
Yeah.
Go to the store.
So
buy
if you
tickets.
want a general admission ticket for the 2 games we're going to play in the next 4 weeks,
I roll.
whatever, Mark.
It's just so long
Or the road
for
games.
a home game.
Or the road games. And then there's
Again,
a break
Follow ECS
coming
Travel
up
Monkey on
soon
Twitter,
after that.
At ECS Travel Monkey.
and you can find out about all the road game ticket purchasing that you need. Or go to weareecs.com and go to the store and just buy stuff.
Eileen's going to
And
die, I
After you
think.
buy all those tickets and you still have some bucks left, get your S2 tickets Saturday, the 22nd, 7 p.m. It's going down.
Who are they
Let's
playing?
go!
In the Monarchs, the Saint or
Monarchs?
RSL Monarchs. They're
SLC Monarchs. Salt Lake City Monarchs.
Salt Lake City
yeah.
Monarchs. Yeah.
Hi, Rick.
Real.
Real. And then Taco Tuesday with S2 the following Tuesday after that. Come on down. It's going down. Who are we playing? Adam, who are we playing on Tuesday?
That's like a week away.
I know. Literally.
You're just.
What is even happening?
I don't know.
Why is someone singing my
I am gonna tell
karaoke
you,
song?
on Tuesday. San Antonio. Oh, the San Antonio team.
You know, if you planned ahead, you could talk through the S2 schedule.
Actually, yeah.
Remember
S2.
when you had a show sheet that you'd send people?
Mickey wants some.
S2
Do you remember when I wasn't in charge?
versus San Antonio.
You've been in
on
charge for a month
the
now.
25th.
No. And now I have
And
a
then they
job.
go on the road
Crazy.
Do the show sheet
against
while you were in
Colorado.
charge, but did it while you weren't in.
So we have 2 games back to back, Saturday and Tuesday. S2, come on down, hang out. I'm hoping that we get a lot of oh yes, and maybe some woo.
Let's get over that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Let's go. How's that go?
Oh yeah.
Let's go!
Woo!
What was that?
I added it.
Anyway,
It just happened.
so thank you everybody for watching. Thank you everyone for being here. Drink more. Tip your bartenders.
Don't sing Tom's song.
Don't sing my song at karaoke. The hell?
The karaoke guy is singing your song.
Yeah, he knows. It's on purpose to get me to tip better. Anyway, good night, everybody.
Good night, y'all. Good night.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Hanging out. Happy
Night.
Monday. Have a good week.
Mark, drink more.
Drink more, Mark. Suck it down. Suck it down, the coog. Suck it down.